No more playing around, people.
No more playing around.
We are in it. We're in it. Welcome, everybody, to the podcast and welcome back. We are here. I'm Sister Liz, and we have my good friend, Sister Elizabeth, here. Welcome, dear sister.
Oh, welcome. Welcome to everyone. And it's good to see you, Sister Liz.
I know, we're back in the groove again. It seems like we never left, but here
I,
we are
Here we are. I know. And we haven't really left one another. We're always together. In
in
the community,
spirit.
you're never that far apart. St. Louise says, don't let the distance between us, you know, doesn't
How
make any
about that?
difference. Our hearts united.
We are going to be physically in the same location in like 2 days, which is so awesome. The time of this recording, we're going to be in St.
We'll be
Louis
together.
together.
That's crazy. I don't know if St. Louis can handle it. And I haven't put out the warning yet that, we're both Elizabeth and Liz would be here, but yeah,
It's
they think they
happening.
can handle it. Yeah, the sisters are coming.
The
The sisters are
sisters,
gonna
I'll bring
be
up some Texas heat. How about that?
all right. Oh yeah, not too much though. Oh, I hate the
Please,
heat.
please.
I'm
I want to,
finally getting some cool weather. Don't mess that up for me.
don't mess it up. I want to do
Don't
some
mess it up.
what they call leaf peeping. I just learned this.
You ever heard of
I
leaf
was like,
peeping before?
leaf peeping?
What
What
is
the
wrong with
heck?
you? How have you never
I
heard of
just
leaf
think it's
peeping?
really adorable. I just think it's the most adorable phrase.
People have
Leaf
been doing
peeping.
that for centuries.
Like
I have,
it just gets me. It gets me good.
Yeah, I was leaf peeping today. We had some beautiful trees that are starting to change. Looks gorgeous. Just
Y'all
peeping.
just get out there and do
Start
some leaf
peeping.
peeping. Huh,
Hey,
that's
hey,
great.
I don't know.
We might have to stop this episode right now because I can't contain it.
I'm just curious. You seem to have this thing about colder weather issues. Like this whole leaf peeping is an interesting thing to you. That's a pretty normal thing if you live, especially in the
I
Northeast.
guess
If you're waiting for sweater weather to come, that's
the sweater
another.
weather. We have sweater weather inside the buildings that we're in. That's where we get the sweater weather. You got to put it on
But you
inside.
still don't even know how to say it. You really don't know how to say it. It's just
If you
sweater weather, sweater weather,
sweater, yes.
sweater weather. Yeah.
If you want to hear some Boston accents, please stay tuned to today's interview because we have the two most adorable sisters on the planet who are also good friends. And this interview is just lovely. It's nothing but heartwarming and charming to me to hear their accents and to see your like Boston
It's,
come out
oh, it was
0 to
fierce, as
60.
they say. Fierce. It was just fierce. Yeah, it was. I had so much fun. We're gonna hear Sister Molly Smith and Sister Mary Rose DiDonato, um, and that should give you an idea. Smith and DiDonato at their beautiful sister friends who have lived in community for many many years together uh, as sisters, as daughters of charity, kind of following one another. You'll hear their story about I was here and
She
then
was
she
there
came.
and then
Yeah, and I think that it's a testament to the comings and goings of the daughters of charity. We're moving around a lot, but it's also the testament to what sister friends really are. Like there's a lot of
mm,
people that are in your life, a lot of sisters you live with, who you love and you cherish them, and but then there are just a few, that become your lifetime sister friends, and we're going to hear from other sisters who have been together in community for a very long time, and just have followed one another or had some relationship even before community because they went to the same school or parents who want to know something, and they've
that's
stayed
great.
friends in community, even though they may never have lived together or these two don't live together till very late in their community life, but they are precious. They are absolutely precious, and
Super precious and super active, even in their quote unquote
yeah,
retirement years.
yeah,
These girls, the Daughters of Charity, will not be held down.
No, we don't
They're
retire.
hustlers till the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, they're still doing. The poor are being served by not just them, but the other sisters who they reside with in Albany. There's no, I've said this before. Sometimes I'm sitting at the dining room table and we're having a meal, and everyone's talking about their lives and community and what they're doing, and I realize I'm 63 years old. These sisters I'm sitting with, some of them are 83 years old. I'm thinking,
Mhm.
on a good day, on a really good day, I'm not nearly as powerful as these women, like
It's
they're
some kind of
amazing.
grace. I don't know what's
It's a
in the water
grace.
at these
And I
places, but
just, yeah. And then I say to myself, my goodness, I got 20 more years of this. My peers are retiring and going on cruises.
you will not be going on cruises.
Are you
You and
kidding?
I will
No,
not.
we are not going on cruises. Mm-mm.
We see a different part of town most of the time.
That's usually it. Yeah. Usually, like, doesn't it happen when your family comes to visit?
Hmm.
They like, oh, well, where can we go? Like, I don't have a clue. I don't know what's around me.
Find the people who are living in tents. That's where I
Yeah,
know to
yeah,
go.
no, yeah. Anyways, but this episode kind of really picks up some of those ideas that we are living a really joyful life. I mean, the many, many, many daughters of charity just love who they are, who
Hmm.
God has helped them to become, and that connection with other sisters is just so powerful. So I just hope everyone enjoys them. They are delightful. They're inspiring. They're all the things you want
Hmm.
two sister friends to be.
Yeah, you guys are going to love it. And we haven't said this in a while, but we still have a Gmail address, companyofcharity@gmail.com. You can email us. You can follow us on our Instagram, which is Company of Charity Podcast. We'd love to get your prayer intentions so we can pray for you. We already do, but we love to have specifics. So you guys are awesome. Thanks so much for sticking with us, and enjoy the episode.
So, hi everyone, it's Sister Elizabeth, and you are listening to In the Company of Charity, the podcast of the Daughters of Charity. I'm going to introduce Sister Molly Smith and Sister Mary Rose DiDonato. She wanted me to make sure to say it correctly, and I did it. Yeah. So, sisters, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, you're welcome.
Glad to be here.
They're not quite sure what they're supposed to do. So I've asked them to just tell me their vocation story. So, Sister Molly, why don't we start with you? Just tell us where you met the daughters, what made you think about coming to the community, what year was it, if you'd like to tell us that?
Well, I was born in 1932 on June 21st. My mother tells me it was the longest day of her life. But I finally did come forth and became a member of the Smith family. I was born in what was then the Brady Maternity Hospital here in Albany, New York. And I first met the daughters, or maybe they first met me, I'm not quite sure, because my mother was still holding me after being born when one of the Daughters of Charity that was stationed in the Brady Maternity Hospital, and they ran it, picked me up and took me away from my mother and brought me into their chapel. And I was laid on the altar of the sisters where they pray and celebrate Mass every day. So that was the beginning of my contact with the Daughters of Charity. It continued when I started school. I went to school at St. John's, the south end of Albany, and the Daughters of Charity taught both the high school and the grade school. In fact, when I entered the community, I didn't know there were any other communities. Everything was daughter to me because my mother also had two sisters that were Daughters of Charity in our community.
Wow.
So everything was just Daughter of Charity in my house. My brother was named William McGee after Elizabeth Ann Seton's son. My brother was named Vincent DePaul after St. Vincent. My sister was named Mary Catherine after St. Catherine Labouré. and I was named originally Margaret after one of the Daughters of Charity, my sister Margaret Hickey. So that was my beginnings of the Daughters was right from birth.
Wow,
the
that's
way up.
amazing. That's amazing. And so you went with that because that's what you knew.
That's what I knew. I wrote to my aunt, the Daughter of Charity, and told her I was becoming a nun. So I entered this community right after graduation, 18 years of age.
Wow.
And I went immediately to Baltimore to a school, helping out at a school, St. Dominic School in Baltimore.
Okay.
That was in 1950. I entered the seminary in December of that same year, 1950. December 18th is my vocation date. And a year and 1 month later, became a habit sister.
Sister, wow, yeah. So the process was a little different in those days.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sent out on mission to St. Charles School in Pikesville, Maryland. And I began, after 8 months of preparation, I began teaching 65 third grade children.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, when I hear those stories, I always think those are like horror stories. 65 of anything is a horror story. But how many were in your band? The group that you entered with?
There were 15 entered the seminary.
Wow.
And, well, right now, 7 of us continued through.
Uh-huh.
And there's only 3 of us left.
Wow. Yeah.
Somebody in Emmitsburg, Sister Maria Nero.
Oh, we just saw Sister Maria
That's
Nero.
right.
We were just in Emmitsburg.
That's right. And Sister Gloria Esposito, who spent most of her community life in Bolivia.
Yeah.
But she is now stationed in Texas at 90 years of age.
Yes.
And here I am at St. Louis
Wow.
House, loving every minute of it.
Yeah.
When I first came here, I said, I did not come to die. I came here to live. And I have to say, I am living.
Yes, you are. Yeah, you are full of life. That's for sure. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I know it's not always easy to kind of go back and think, who wants to hear this, But it's really fascinating, the stories of how we come and where the daughters show up in our lives. And for you, it was at birth, being laid on the altar. My goodness, that's pretty as close as you can get to, being offered up for us.
Some people think I was doomed from the
Oh.
beginning. But you know what? It's never been a doom.
Yeah.
My community life, my spiritual life, my life here, and especially here at St. Louis House, has been a great experience for me.
Yeah.
And every experience that I've had have been just wonderful experiences.
That's great. That's wonderful. And so we also have with us Sister Mary Rose
DiDonato.
DiDonato.
And I was born in 1930. I'm old.
I was born in 1960, so I feel old too nowadays, but that's okay.
I didn't have the connection that she did with the daughters. I didn't know the daughters. And I was working. I was out there and I was working in a bank. And one of the sisters said she was going to go to some kind of a workshop or a retreat day. We'd like to come. I said, where? She told me where the daughters were. Sister Oliva Canan was the vocation. I don't know if you ever heard of her name.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, so they said, it's just a day of recollection. I said, okay, I'll go. And that's the first time I met the daughters. And then they said they had a group of business women club. Would you like to go to that?
To a club.
Which I did. And I met some of the people there. And so anyway, that's where I met the daughters. But my idea was not to be a daughter. I was going to get married and have 10 children.
Oh my
But that
goodness.
didn't work out.
God had other plans, obviously.
Yeah, well, I guess God said, you're not going to. I said, okay. So I said, well, I'll try it. So I did. She directed me to Sister Rosemary Gerace. She was the sister servant at Labouré Center in South Boston. It was a social work group. So I went to her, met with her periodically. So finally I said, okay. I was going with this guy, and we were on and off, and I couldn't understand it. I'd say, well, I was off. He would go together. He'd invite me to do this, and we'd go, oh, God. So finally, I decided to come to the community, but I didn't tell anybody. And one of my friends called me one day, and she said to me, did you hear about Jimmy? I said, no. Why? She said, he's going to become a Franciscan priest. I said, what? I said, they're going to think that. And then I said, well, are you sitting down? And he said, yeah. Well, I told her about myself. She couldn't believe it. And she said, I said, well, I guess they're going to think because I'm joining a religious order that had a broken heart,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He went to the Franciscans. You broke your heart, or you went to the Daughters and broke his heart. One or the other.
I couldn't believe it that we both were thinking of the same thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, I entered in February of 1953. My first mission, I was at St. John's in Baltimore after I got the habit and all.
Uh-huh.
And I left St. John's, and she followed me to St. John's.
Oh. Yeah.
And I went to St. Martin's across town. I was leaving St. Martin's. She goes to St. Martin's.
You were like following her, stalking her.
You're not going to believe this.
Yeah.
I went to Harrisburg. She comes to Harrisburg
No, sir.
for an interview, but she didn't stay.
You totally were stalking her.
Yeah, well, she didn't know it.
She didn't. Right. At the time, you didn't really know each other. Is that?
Yes. We knew each other.
But not the way you know each other now.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And then I went to, from Harrisburg, I went to Johnson City, New York.
Oh, okay.
And while I was there, she had already been there.
I had been there.
So I followed her.
Yeah, you
Still
caught up
didn't-
with one
We
another.
still didn't live together
Oh,
yet.
you're kidding.
No. So when I was at St. James in Johnson City, I got a call from Sister Mary Basil, who was a visitatrix. You don't know.
No, but I know the names. They're part of
So
history
she
now.
called me and asked me to come up to see her. And at that time, Molly was the directress of the seminary.
Yeah. All right. Shout out to all directors.
So when I got
Here it
there,
comes.
Yeah.
so when I got there, she smiled at me. I said, she knows something. Mary Basil asked me to be the provincial secretary. So I was her provincial secretary. And that's the first time we actually lived together. So she was the seminary directress and I was provincial secretary.
So
And
you were
that-
destined to be friends here, apparently.
Yeah, sure. And then let me see, after that, Mary Basil's term was finished, and the following provincial, Mary Rose McGady, asked me if I would stay over, for in the transition to help her. And I said, well, on condition of two things. One is that I don't change my name, because she was Mary Rose and I was Mary Rose.
Oh, yeah.
And secondly, I'm not going to stay very long.
Yeah.
All right, she said. All right. Well, it got so that I was staying a little bit longer than I expected. So I went to her and I said, Sister, you said I will only be here for a short time. So she said, oh, well, we'll see. And she said to one of the counselors, I could have blown her over with a feather, she said. So anyway, I said, I want to go out and work with the poor now. So I was delighted. She sent me, I went back to where I had been before in Johnson City. I had been principal, but now I didn't want to be in education at that point. So I was in the parish as parish minister at the same pastor and all. And then, let me see. And after that, I went to Philadelphia for a short while in parish ministry. And what happened after that?
Binghamton.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
That's-
I went to Binghamton.
yeah.
I was in Johnson City and Binghamton for 35 years.
Wow.
And somebody said, "How did you do that?"
Yeah.
I said, they forgot me, and I was glad that they forgot me.
I was going to say, my goodness,
Yeah, nobody does that.
nobody does that.
No,
well, there
I-
are a rare few who do it.
Yeah, I was
But-
blessed. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe it. I couldn't believe it. The last one place I had been, I was there 22 years before I
Wow.
came here.
Yeah.
May 31st, I will be here 6 years. She came. She said, "Why don't you come?" We were living together in Binghamton again,
Uh-huh.
and she said, "Why don't you come? Come up to the St. Louis house."
Uh-huh.
No, I said, "I'm not ready yet.
Yeah.
I'm only 87.
I needed a driver.
You need to.
I'm still driving."
Yeah, yeah.
And I said, "No, I'm not ready to go up there." So at 87, I retired. I was forced to retire because they were closing the house.
Oh.
We were connected with our house. Some worked at the hospital, which was right next door to us. Some worked elsewhere. So we had no choice. We had to leave.
And this was in Binghamton.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So
that
Louise-
wasn't that long ago.
No.
Yeah, 6 years, you
Yes.
said.
And Louise Gallagher was the visitatrix.
Mhm.
She came to the house. And I said, "Look, Louise, I'm 87 years old." I said, "I think maybe I'll go to St. Louis house. Is that all right?" "Oh, that's wonderful," she said.
Is
I
that
said,
all
"I don't
right?"
want to start a new ministry at 87.
7, yeah.
But I was,
You probably could have.
I was
Yeah,
very
I'm
active.
sure.
I'm still active.
Yeah.
I just broke my leg, that's all, and I broke my arm.
Actively falling, actively.
Broke almost every bone in my body.
Oh, my
So
God.
anyway, I came up here May 31st. It will be 6 years.
Wow.
And how long have you been here?
July 1st, I will be 8 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
2 years ahead of me.
Wow. So you're really kind of relatively new here.
No,
Kind of young. No, I
Well,
mean, others have been here a longer time. I said we came, and, when we think about sometimes, when we talk about our retired sisters, we're always like, they're not really retired.
No.
No, this is not retirement.
no, we
But
don't sit in our rooms and twiddle our thumbs.
You do not. No,
I mean,
absolutely. Your daughter's a charity. You don't
And
do
there
that.
are some things that we do that, missionary, so to speak.
Yeah.
We make
One thing
sandwiches.
that I wish we did it even more than that, we do have, we make sandwiches for
Yeah.
one of the shelters, men's shelters here
Uh-huh.
in Albany. And all those bags of lunches that go out are really wonderful.
Yeah.
And I always feel, why can't we do this even more?
Mm-hmm.
We give them
do?
sandwiches and
But,
drinks and all kinds of things in the bags,
Yeah. And so those all get made here?
Yes.
This is, you,
Oh,
you
yeah,
all,
the
you
sisters
make
make them. We make
sisters,
Yeah.
we
sandwiches,
make them.
bag them, put them in plastic bags. We do the whole process.
Uh-huh.
Give
and
them
then the shelter comes and picks up the boxes.
Nice.
Of
Give them
sandwiches.
each person a few sandwiches, drinks, all kinds of little other things,
Yeah. Do you put little notes in there sometimes?
No,
Oh.
we have
No,
done.
that's a good idea.
You should put
though,
little
never
notes
thought
in
of that.
there. Yeah.
That's good.
Wonderful.
That's
Yeah.
a good idea.
We just did at Christmas. The seminary used some of the money that had been donated to us to use for the poor. And of course, we don't. They have their ministries on Tuesday, but we don't have active ministries in the way other sisters would, and when they will when they're sent on mission. But we used the money to create like Ziploc bags that had like socks and washcloth and that because there were a lot of people who were sleeping in tents near us, and those tents were taken down, and it was really pretty hard to watch all that happen. And so that was our little contribution as much as we could, but it does give you a sense of connection. Like
That's
you
right.
know that you may not be out doing all the big stuff, but it's the little stuff, So yeah, I would recommend put a little
Well,
note in
she-
there.
Put a note in
let
there.
me tell you
and
about-
then next week
Yeah,
is we
that's-
start what we call Trim Down Week.
Oh,
And for a whole week, we try to go through everything that we own,
yeah,
and can be anything,
right.
and it's all collected. And the van. The first year we did that, we collected 500 some items of clothing and other things.
Yeah, yeah.
Last year we did it, and it was down to 400 some that we had really began to cling out. So it doesn't matter what it is, everything is collected. The first person that comes to see all the clothing, especially, is Sister Marian Hamway.
Oh,
And
okay.
she works with the refugees.
Yes, yeah.
So she takes anything that she can use for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we box everything and put everything in a van. And we travel to both Goodwill and
Salvation.
Salvation Army. And everything is delivered over to them.
Nice. That's
a
great.
wonderful.
Yeah.
So all week next week we will be collecting things.
I've got my bag ready, and everything is new. It's not even old stuff.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
not. Oh, nothing torn.
Nothing
nothing
torn.
dirty.
Nothing torn.
Oh no,
No.
nothing torn. Nothing
I
dirty.
mean, you can
Yeah.
you can have clothing that you've worn, and it's in good condition. It has to be in good condition
Of course, yeah.
and clean. But this, I haven't even touched any of the stuff I'm giving.
Yeah.
away. I don't need it.
Yeah.
But,
Well, that's what happens. I think we, somehow people give us things or we
That's
collect
right.
it somehow but it's good to be able to re-gift it.
Mhm.
And we
That's
know
right,
our
yeah.
family and friends know that's probably what's going to happen
Mm-hmm.
to some things. Yeah.
We write to our servicemen. I think they're mostly veterans. Before Christmas, send out Christmas
Oh,
cards
nice. Nice.
to veterans. So we've come up with some really
Yeah.
great ways to still continue to touch people, and of course our staff. There are many in our staff that are in need of a listening ear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of
Tell them about We Care, We Share.
we have
That's
a
the
committee
biggest
called
thing.
We Care, We Share, and we have some fundraisers during the year, and that's the funds from those collections are for members of our staff that are either sick, hospitalized, has lost a member of the family, sympathy, or just financial help, that we're able to help people of our staff here
I just think that's great.
in any way that
Yeah.
we can.
And you also, we often talk about your prayer of ministry, which is so important to the sisters who are on the missions in other places, knowing that we have the powerhouse of prayer that our care centers are. I mean, and we love what we get the list of who's praying for us now. Which house gets which sister, and
Right.
then they jumble you up sometimes. So, who are you praying for, Sister Molly?
I am praying for our sisters at Blessed Sacrament in Bayside.
Oh, nice.
And I pray for Mary Felice,
Oh,
who is in Africa. And of course, I pray for Sister Molly Smith.
Junior. Yes, yes. So they're twins, Sister Molly and Sister Molly, who is a seminary sister. And they met for the first time in our visit here.
That's right.
Great. I pray for the Bayside sisters as well.
Oh,
And I
you
pray
guys can't get away from each other.
and I pray for Sister Martha Balakovic, who's in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
She's the treasurer of their province.
Yes, yeah.
We lived with her in Binghamton.
So the closeness of Bayside, you get to see those sisters sometimes,
Yes,
but
yes.
then the missionary side as well, yeah. And the seminary side. You're welcome to pick a seminary sister and pray for her if you'd like.
I don't want to pray to just one.
And, oh, you pray for all of them.
Pray for all of them.
Is there something that you'd want to tell our listeners about, just about your life, what they could pray for you, or just some pearl of wisdom that you would want to share with them? Oh, their eyes are squinting. They're thinking, what can I say?
Well, I thank God every single day for the gift of vocation that He has given to me. That it is a prize that I so appreciate. I've loved everything that I have done in my teaching career, and especially the last years of ministry when I was working at a food pantry. That some of the very poorest of the poor came for handouts, and that was humiliating to me. That I was being given that gift to be able to help somebody else. So in any little way that anyone can. I guess that the being able to share your life with someone else has always been so much a part of the Smith family life. And so I brought that to community, and I was able to extend that in so many ways in the ministries that the Lord gave me to participate in. So I am just very grateful for that. I've had challenges, I've had hurts, I've had losses, I've had difficulties that everyone else in the world has. And so I just will go to God knowing how thankful I am of what He has given me.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And it is a reminder that our lives are not protected in some way that we don't suffer. We suffer the way everyone else does. But community, the sense of community, whether that's in a congregation, whether you're in a community of consecrated women, community in your neighborhood, a community at your church, community matters. Jesus knew that, right? That's why He gathered people together, because community matters. And so I love that. I love that. From your birth, you had a sense of generosity, and but also bringing that to community and allowing community to help you through even those troubled times. So thank you. I appreciate that.
I believe that nothing happens by chance. It is providential. And where I've been, especially in the parish where I encountered many people I laughed with, cried with, it was just so touching to hear people come to me. I never asked them to come to me for their problems, but they did. And to be able to just listen to them, because you can't always just preach with them, preach to them. And for me, that was a great blessing to have that kind of an encounter. I just said, as I say, everything is not chance, it's providential. Everything that happened in my life, I always say, is providential.
Yeah.
And one of the things my mother used to say to me when I left the house, and my sisters and brothers, in Italian, she would say, La Marana Compagna. That means, may Blessed Mother be with you, accompany you as you go out. And I've never forgotten that.
Well, I love that. I grew up with my Italian grandmother, so.
You have an Italian?
Yeah.
You're part Italian?
I am part Italian.
On your mother's side?
No, my father's side.
Oh,
yeah.
You're
I grew up in
Grime.
Grime. Well, my grandmother was Italian. My
your
grandfather was German. You can
Oh, yeah.
imagine that in the day, back in the early 1900s. She was a little bit of a rebel. She married a German guy, and that was kind of,
Well, guess what my oldest brother's name was?
What?
Otto.
Otto.
Which is a German
name? Yeah.
But
yeah.
it was very popular in Italy,
mhm.
Italian.
Yeah.
Altino.
Oh, my
Saint
grandmother.
Martino.
Yeah, I lived with her when I was younger, when I was a little kid, baby, and her name was Teresa Maria Carmela Frandudo.
Frandudo?
Frandudo from Revere.
Really?
Yeah.
From Revere?
From Revere.
Revere, Mass?
Revere, Mass. That's where I grew
Really?
up.
Where did you go?
I grew up in Revere, but then I moved to Brighton.
You gotta be kidding.
No, yeah.
I didn't know you. My sister lived in Revere.
Oh,
Really?
dear God. Oh, Lord above. Oh, you have another friend.
I know.
She lived in Revere.
Yeah.
Now she lives in Peabody.
Peabody. Oh, okay. Not Peabody. It's
No.
Peabody. Peabody. Get it right, folks.
If you're not from Boston, you
say
know
it
how
funny.
to say it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I grew up in Revere.
And you moved to where?
To Brighton. That's where my
Brighton.
parents lived, and so later I moved back with my parents. But I grew up in Revere, right on Broadway, and I
yeah.
was baptized at St. Anthony's.
Oh, yes.
By Father
My
Cavelli.
sister went to
St. Anthony's.
Church.
Oh, it was a beautiful church.
It's
It
a
had big
beautiful church.
flagstones out front. It had this huge portico, with these flagstones. I remember as a little kid in my little black patent leather shoes, I liked to click on them, that kind of
Isn't
sound
that
it makes.
something?
It was great. And then we'd go down to the beach after church.
Oh, Revere Beach. We lived in Revere Beach.
You go to Kelly's with clams.
Oh, the yes.
Yeah, whole
But I'm
clams
not-
with the belly.
No, I don't like that.
Oh.
I'll tell you, I won't. I had an experience.
Oh,
I
okay.
couldn't eat those at all.
Yeah.
But Kelly's, they were famous for
Well, my
that.
grandmother, when I would get one that had a little sand in it, she would say, no, that's good because God's making a little pearl inside
Oh,
you.
it's a natural.
She had all kinds of ways to get me to eat what she wanted me to eat.
Is
Yeah.
it? Is it?
Well,
I
there
didn't
you
know
go.
you were from Boston.
Yeah. I know my accent's kind of disappeared, but you're helping me get it back. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so shout out to Revere. Anyone out there?
Oh,
yeah.
now you have.
Now it's there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you are on her list
And this
now.
now, that's it.
I'm going to hug you after.
Oh, let's get a hug. All right. So, sisters, thank you so much. I think what I would say in the end is I just appreciate so much the joy that I see in so many sisters, but sister friends, who have a friendship that is just you just bring joy to each other, and your friendship brings joy to everyone else. So I thank you for that witness, because for the seminary sisters, it's really important for them to see that joy and that fun.